Ladies and gentlemen, the American German Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting Company, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms, and boy, do we got a great show for you today. First, we lead off with a Trump Florida indictment. I want to go ahead and direct you to my Facebook Live that I did about 24 hours ago that focuses on this. It's up to nearly 40,000 views so far, where I detail everything relating to this indictment. The bottom line is, I don't think Donald Trump has anything to worry about. So much taken out of context, much to do about nothing. But I'm not going to regurgitate it here. Check out my Facebook Live where I talk about that I've read the Trump indictment, full analysis, my Facebook Live. All right, the Attorney General position. The first Attorney General in this country was Edmund Randolph from Virginia, was appointed by George Washington. And from that day forward, the Attorney General is a member of the executive branch who serves at the leisure of the President of the United States. The President of the United States gets to fire the Attorney General. He nominates him. He's approved by the United States Senate, but the President gets to decide who the Attorney General is. And the bottom line is the President of the United States always wants, it's the most important position the President appoints. There's a reason why JFK, for example, appointed his brother. Eric Holder appointed his wingman. Donald Trump got shanghaied into appointing Jeff Sessions, and the rest is history. And Joe Biden has his boy, Merrick Garland. Let's stop all the BS about fair and impartial. The Attorney General is, in fact, the President's servant. And we know that Merrick Garland is doing the bidding of Joe Biden right now. Speaking of Trump, his numbers have gone up again. Can't make it up. He's indicted a second time. He's now at 61%. DeSantis is at 23%. He's up 38% on number two. It's over. Trump's New York charge. Have you noticed? Nothing is said about this in the media anymore. They know it was it was a joke. And that's the same thing is going to happen in Florida. They get the big pow, and then it just nothing. McConnell, Thune, and Cornyn from Texas all don't mind anything that's going on. They're all for Trump going away. Yes, they are. Unabomber Ted Kaczynski died, apparently from suicide. Once again, Exhibit A, why life sentencing is stupid. We paid and housed that guy all these years for him to commit suicide. First off, the Unabomber should have been put to death, right? Trump, he gave a speech in Georgia and North Carolina, and he says this is the final battle. And I agree. This is it. If Biden gets reelected, Kamala Harris is going to be the president, and it's over. This country will be so far gone, it'll be over. I really believe that. DeSantis apparently has been being told by his staff to smile and when to smile. He also, in Iowa, apparently had a sweating incident. You know, here's what I think. I think DeSantis is comfortable in Florida as governor. I don't think he's comfortable out there running for president. That's just what I believe. Tony Awards, you can't make this up. I looked at them. I don't recognize a single actor or a single play. Remember, the Tony Awards are for acting on stage. Nobody cares. Since 2019, this is a shocking statistic. Since 2019, 10,000 bank branches have closed, taking away community banking even more. Bill Barr can kiss my fanny. Bill Farr says, if any of these, half of this stuff is true, he's toast. This is a guy who's a bushy. He's a bushy. And he's also the guy in 2018 takes the 1023 form from the whistleblower and rather than do something about it, just sends it to the Delaware guy where it sits and nothing happens. A couple went into a house that they inherited and found, among other things, 1 million pennies. And apparently the pennies are worth more than their face value based upon their age. Pretty cool. This is wild. A modern day Yellow Jackets, less the cannibalism. You seen the movie TV show Yellow Jackets? 4 children, ages 13, 9, 4, and 12 months. They took care of a 12-month-old, found alive deep in the Colombian jungle 40 days after surviving a plane crash that killed all the adults. The kids were malnourished and insect bitten, but otherwise okay. When they came upon the crash site, they noticed the kids were missing and that there was some fruit that had been eaten. Isn't that a wild story? Karen Gilbert, Jack Smith's assistant, can't make this up. She screwed up a drug prosecution so bad she got fired, but yet was allowed to come back in the DOJ. See how the swamp works? Garth Brooks, up and down with old Garth. I'm back down on him. Garth Brooks calls Bud Light boycotters assholes following the transgender Dylan Mulvaney. You watch, this is going to bite him in the butt. Ozempic. The FDA is warning Ozempic users, but they don't give a F, this story says. Lots of risks for Ozempics. But you know what? It works, right? I've never taken it, but it works. Air Trump. Trump did a show or a commercial where he used the air monologue of Matt Damon's character. Apparently he didn't have consent. They probably say, who cares? You know how woke this country is? RFK Jr. offered to announce that he and Cheryl Hines, his actress wife, were separated to protect her in Hollywood. How crazy is that? Crazy. And then today in history is the famous speech at the Brandenburg Monument by Ronald Reagan when he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Coming up next, Eric Deters and local news. Ladies and gentlemen, American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Eric Deters Local News. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. We're our lead story. You know, I generally don't do these stories, but I'm making exceptions because I like the Egbers family. The Egbers family have Battery down in Ludlow where they ship batteries all over the globe. And Joe Egbers was part of the Bill Tobin gang that I hung out with when I was in college and law school. And he's a great guy. And his brother Steve and him run the show. But his father, who founded the company, Skip Egbers, is who I want to talk about. And if you go down to Ludlow, this is hysterical. They have a pickleball court right behind their battery. And you can't make this up. The true founder of the pickleball glory that everybody is engaged in right now, you can trace it all the way back to Skip Egbers. Skip Egbers, the founder of organized pickleball. They got a court and everything. By the way, my wife just bought us some pickleball balls and paddles, so we're going to start playing pickleball too. Law and crime. Abby Michaels, this is the woman that was charged with killing 3 people in a 2019 car crash, was found not guilty by the judge. The problem? Intent wasn't there. A Mount Airy man was shot and killed. By the way, if you live in Bond Hill, Price Hill, Avondale, or Mount Airy, I feel for you. Cameron Chambers, 30, was arrested. The Covington Groper. There he is, folks, right there. Your Covington Groper. Brenda Scott Fairfield. This is a woman that jumped out of a movie, a window, second story, because this guy set her on fire. She's died, unfortunately. The death of Johnny Dalton. Tanya Jones is right there. My good friends Deanna Dennison and Paul Hill are representing this family. And right there, Tanya Jones, that's her father. He is the man that was beaten to death. He's like 60 years old, beaten to death inside a Kenton County jail after being placed there for just 1 hour by some guy that's now been charged with his murder. And they want answers. Why was he placed in a cell with this violent criminal? What could have been done to avoid it? It's a sad, sad story. In local news, this was going crazy Saturday. 6 Kroger bomb threats. No bombs went off, but there were bomb threats. Mount Rumpke, you know what? The highest garbage dump in Ohio, it's as tall as the Eiffel Tower, is what they call Mount Rumpke. David Miller, a firefighter from Gallatin County, was injured. Looks like he's going to be okay. Can't make this up. Christ Hospital is bragging that they're going to make LGBTQ a priority at their hospital. Why don't they just say we're going to treat everybody the best possible care. Can't do that. Dick Williams, the son of Tom Williams, the real man behind the Cincinnati Reds and Western Southern, is going to be this new CEO of Skyline. He most recently was the CEO of Reds. The Williams bought a little stake in Skyline. I'm sure Gary Holland will be happy. Sheriff McGuffey got pulled over, and they've released the videotape. She was polite. The deputy was polite. Let her off for a warning. You know what? Even the sheriff can be in a hurry. In Kentucky, sad story. That man right there, Bob Sarver, died saving his grandson from a riptide. Riptides are scary. We went down to Alabama once for vacation, and an hour before we left, somebody drowned from a riptide. I never went back. It was Dolphin Island. We'd been there 2 straight years. We loved it. But I was like, I'm not going to go back there. Black Diamond Coal Mine. They've been found guilty. Somebody's had to plead guilty. Fake, improper testing relative to the coal dust. Guy had to plead guilty. He's going to serve about a year in jail. Greg Elkins was sworn in as the new state senator that covers part of Fayette County, part of Montgomery County, and some other central Kentucky counties. Sergeant Vicki Day has sued the Kentucky State Police, saying she was a whistleblower for misuse of federal grants, and now she's got a lawsuit against them. Fitch Rating Industry has boosted Kentucky's bond rating. That can't hurt us. And in sports, unbelievable this past weekend. The Reds beat the Cardinals 2 out of 3. Cruz continued to play well. Abbott's continuing to pitch well. It's unbelievable. And congratulations to the Moeller Crusaders, who won their 9th state boys baseball championship. There's some players. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Coming up next, Jamie Spenley and his World News.
G'day, Bulldog Nation. The latest world headlines. Former Scotland's First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, has been arrested in connection with the ongoing investigation into funding and finances of the Scottish National Party. 8 teenagers have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a stabbing of a 16-year-old boy at a party in Somerset, England. A 35-year-old lady was also stabbed but has been released from the hospital. The police are still carrying out their investigation. A wedding bus crash near the capital of Canberra in Australia has left 10 people dead and 25 others are in hospital. They were returning from a wedding at a winery when the bus overturned. The crash is also under investigation. The former Italian Prime Minister has died at the age of 86. Silvio Berlusconi leaves behind a complex and controversial legacy. And in sports, Manchester City beat Inter Milan 1-0 in the final of the Champions League. Australia crowned World Test Champions winners after beating India in the cricket. And Djokovic wins men's record in tennis, 23rd major Grand Slam to pass Nadal. Stay tuned for Bulldog Sports with Eric and Nick. And also, I'd like to wish our producer, Sabrina Kane, a very, very happy birthday. Without her, none of this would be possible. Thanks, Sabrina. Enjoy your day. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic day. And this is for you, Maureen. Cheerio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation and sports fans everywhere, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. Yours truly, Eric Deters, and my sidekick and co-host, Nick Batista.
Good evening, Bulldog.
Did you have a good day, Nick?
Great day, great weekend.
Nick, should we start the show with the fact that there's rumors that Bud Light was going to offer us $1 million to sponsor our show as long as we would promote Bud Light, and we said no.
We said no.
I mean,
it's not about the money here.
It's not about the money here. All right. We got a long list of things. New format to the show. We're going to cover a lot of topics. LIV and PGA announced this week, Nick, that they were going to merge. What is your comments about this merger?
It's about the money. There's no doubt. And Monahan looks like a hypocrite to all the players. And it was coming. Phil Mickelson looks like, the prophet. He said it last year.
Donald Trump did too.
And Donald Trump did.
They have admitted, Monahan has admitted that the reason why this happened is they could not afford the long, protracted legal battle. And it looks like the PGA folks are going to make more money. The folks that were LIV would make a little less to make sure it all works. It looks like LIV is kind of being a little control, except Greg Norman is out.
Yeah, that was coming.
The commissioner of LIV's gone.
What I don't like, though, is these PGA players that stood fast want money and want, what do they call it? Reparations, right?
They wanted. Is there such thing as golf reparations?
There is in this case. I don't think they deserve any money.
Today, Nick, I watched the GOAT of tennis. Last week, we covered all the GOATs. Well, the GOAT in tennis is Djokovic.
Right.
23 Grand Slams. That's a record. I Wikipedia'd him too, Nick. The other records that he holds. Do you know that he holds a winning record against Federer and Nadal? I mean, the guy's amazing. And he's a good guy, too. His life story's amazing.
Hell with him. He's not American. Give me Connors and McEnroe and the guy from Cali, Andre Agassi.
So you don't like this guy because he's from Serbia.
That's right.
You're lucky we're not a woke show. You'd get fired for that if it was a different network besides Eric Deters Media. Anyway, it was an incredible event. And guess who sat next to his wife? Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The GOATs are the GOATs. By the way, we're going to talk about another GOAT here in a minute. Kansas City went to the White House. We posted a funny meme. The meme was Trump 45 FJP.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great.
But look at Joe Biden. Do you think Joe Biden knows anything about football?
Probably very little.
There is no way he knows anything about
the
football.
Travis Kelce thing, right? Didn't they have to drag him off the stage?
Yeah, talk about that.
Well, I don't know what he said, but I don't know what it was. Was it political?
Of course it was political. They didn't want Travis Kelce speaking up against the Joe Biden administration. You got to like Kelce. All right, Isaiah Rodgers of the Colts. It didn't take long. We got sports betting all across the country, including Cincinnati. And lo and behold, Isaiah Rodgers, a significant player of the Colts, is under investigation. He's obviously guilty because he said, I take full responsibility for my actions. When you take full responsibility for actions, that means you're freaking guilty.
This is like the steroid era in baseball. They all deny until there's evidence. I'm telling you, there's so many guys doing this. You know they are. They're all competitive.
I believe this is widespread.
Yes.
I use this as an example of time about referees and players. All right. Before we started doing this show, Nick, no one would ever know publicly that you were my friend.
Right.
Okay. So if I was a player, I could give you money and you cash, and you could go place those bets on who I want. And then you and I split the cash later. No one would know.
Well, yeah, with legal betting, can't you just create some kind of company and make the bets that way? Somebody has to talk. That's how they get busted.
Well, this is a big news for all you Bills fans. Daryl Parks, you're going to be very happy. The Bills are going to build a new stadium for $1.54 billion.
Right.
You know, you can't build a stadium anymore, Nick, for less than $1 billion.
Wasn't Jerry World $1 billion? And I mean, my gosh.
Dallas wide receiver, he was a nobody, Callaway, gets arrested, cut. You know, if you're a professional player,
I know nothing.
Do you think you could just stay out of crime? Like, the only thing you got to do is don't commit a crime.
Right.
This guy couldn't do it.
I don't know this.
NCAA baseball's been going big this week. Have you been watching any of these games?
I've been, man. And these crowds, 30, 40,000 people.
Well, I want to get this up here because it's just unbelievable. These games have been incredible. LSU and Kentucky just started. Kentucky got smoked by LSU 14-0 yesterday. Right. By the way, folks, they play best 2 out of 3 in the Super Regionals. Virginia beat Duke. So they won the series. Alabama got smoked today by Wake Forest, 22-5. Wake Forest is number 1. Great. Alabama is 16th. Tennessee beat Southern Miss 1-1. But these games and the plays and the players, it's exciting stuff.
It is. They go back and forth. Duke won yesterday or the day before, and they had the momentum, and then they ended up losing. I mean, the College World Series is great. I watch it every year, man.
NCAA softball, Oklahoma won 2-0. Beat Florida State.
They won. You know, I didn't watch any games this year, and I watched that one. And
Oklahoma.
Good story.
They are a dynasty.
Yeah, they are.
They are a dynasty.
62-1.
All right, let's talk a little about Cincinnati Reds. Ella De La Cruz began his career this week against the Los Angeles Dodgers. They played 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati, 2 out of 3 in St. Louis Cardinals. I have watched. I'm on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I know.
I'm on the bandwagon, folks. I am on the bandwagon. They won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, 2 out of 3 against St. Louis. De La Cruz is unbelievable. He's a freak.
He is, man.
He beat out an infield hit today that just bounced high to the first baseman.
I mean, he goes first to third like Deion Sanders.
And this is also
460-foot home run.
this is also funny. He said he's the fastest man in the world.
No.
He pronounced himself the fastest man in the world.
Collinsworth and race a horse.
I mean,
do that.
I know. You know, Billy Hamilton was fast.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders was fast.
Comparison.
Is this guy faster than them? I'll tell you one thing. He's got long strides.
Oh, he does.
Long strides. I heard that he went from first to third faster than anybody else this
did.
year in baseball.
Yes, sir.
So maybe he is. NBA, it looks like it's over.
It's Denver. Yep.
The Nuggets, the Heat gave them one game 2. It was the night that we talked about it. When they win, you predicted it. Mm-hmm. But now it's 3-1.
Tomorrow night.
They play tomorrow night at Denver. I think it's over.
It's over, man.
I think it's over. The Knights are up 3-1. They beat the Panthers. Just crushing the Panthers.
Yeah, so
It'll be kind of cool for Vegas to have a win, don't you think?
they just won 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they'll have another one. It's a new city. All right, I'm gonna pass this subject over to you. Some Cleveland Brown players were thugging. What's this story all about, Browns fan?
Late night in a club, the same crap, probably flashing money around, and there were 6 guys waiting for him in one of the players' cars and jumped out with masks. What a crazy story.
Club,
Dog day afternoon.
guns, cash, late night. What could go wrong?
Wrong as Bill Cosby.
What could go wrong? Joe Burrow showed up at the Reds-Dodgers game to hit batting practice and hit 4 home runs during batting practice. Can Joe Burrow become a designated hitter for the Reds?
God, I hate the guy, but my God, I watched that, and he's
a Browns fan, remember. We love the guy. Except his new haircut, I think, is weird.
Man. Yeah.
His haircut's weird.
Yeah.
It's all right. Joe's rich as hell. Joe can do. You think Joe cares what we say? No.
He might.
Joe doesn't care about anything.
Someday he will.
And someday he will. All right. Canadian fires. It's not just political. There were actually baseball games canceled.
Right. New York canceled. And Pittsburgh also. They must have just missed us. We had some haze, but my God.
We just had haze. Phoenix released Chris Paul. Good move or bad move?
He's old. He's going to go to L.A.
He's slow.
LeBron wants to play with him. I don't know why.
We covered things sports related, folks. Troy Aikman, who is still married, posts these pictures of him and his new girlfriend, Haley Clark. Look how buff Troy Aikman looks.
Yeah.
He must be taking that testosterone that they're selling on television
I hate
or something.
the Cowboys, but I've always liked him, man. Aikman, class act. Except for this.
You know what? Well, I'm looking at Haley Clark.
I
don't see it, man. I admit, I scrolled, I Googled her. She's an influencer.
Oh, Lord.
But my God, she doesn't look like anything, man.
This might get him canceled.
Troy Aikman can do better. Well, he pushes the envelope.
Yeah.
He gets
he does.
ESPN is cutting Neil Everett. He's been there forever.
Wow.
And he's getting cut. ESPN sucks.
Did he say
He
something?
didn't say no. It's a budget move. It's a budget move. All right, Belmont Stakes. This is big. Did you watch the Belmont Stakes?
I texted you and said, about to go off. I took a shower and came back. It was over.
Could you not? Was it that important to get clean?
It was on
before the race?
America's a day at the races all day, and I missed the race.
Well, Arcangelo, isn't that cute? Arcangelo.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you're Italian. There was an Italian trainer, an Italian owner from New York. 7-1, paid well, beat. Boy, what a close Forte did. Yeah. Forte got bottled up. Then he came on the outside. My God, to finish second.
And everybody had him. All these broadcasters and jockeys had him.
And a very sexually suggestive name finished third. Tap it twice.
Tap it twice.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
Isn't that a disgusting name?
I didn't even think
all
about
men
it
in America know what that means.
Me that, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Josh, would you tap it twice?
What? Unlimited times.
Depends who, right?
That's right.
Tap it once, tap it thrice. All right. By the way, the reason why I brought up the greatest horse of all time is Secretariat. They did a special about Secretariat Big Red.
Yeah, Big Red.
I'd forgotten about this. 50th anniversary of Secretariat still holds the track records for, or not the track records, the race records for the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont.
All three.
All three. 50 years ago, there hasn't been a faster horse.
Do you remember?
In those races.
About 10 years ago, they had the top 100 athletes, and Secretariat was like third.
Secretariat belongs there.
Yeah.
Secretariat lived for 19 years. By the way, the movie Secretariat, even watch it, is outstanding. Dalvin Cook got cut by the Minnesota Vikings. I don't understand it at all.
Well, it's the Minnesota Vikings. That's what they do. And it was a budget move. He'll get picked up. I mean,
Nobody's picked him up yet.
Miami.
You ready for this? Messi, the soccer player, is signing with Miami.
Right.
He passed up a contract of over $1 billion.
With what, the Premier League?
Yes.
Oh, man. See, that's
Do you believe that? $1 billion.
to come to America.
I think I'm going to start
MSL.
practicing. I think I'm going to start practicing tryout for FC. Do pro teams have tryouts?
I think they have walk-ons.
Bryce Young has been chosen the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that's an owner's move there, I think. Come on. Really?
He's from Bama, buddy. Are you ready for this? Zion Williamson has a kind of tiger thing. He's with one girl, then it comes out he's seeing another girl, now another girl. All the girls are coming forward. What about Zion Williamson?
Sure they are. Yeah, look at that face.
You know, Zion Williamson, they thought he was the second coming between his injuries and his girl problems.
Yeah.
Washed up.
He doesn't want to play basketball.
There's never going to be
he was
another
the second coming.
Yeah, Michael Jordan's never going to be challenged.
No.
Because this is what, look, Jay Morant, he was going to be Michael Jordan.
Yep.
He plays around with guns. Zion Williamson plays around with too many women.
Don't have the drive. Man. I want to play basketball.
Live Greg Norman, we already talked about that. Bally Sports isn't paying their teams. I don't know if the Reds are one of them, but they're going bankrupt, and they're not paying the teams of what they're owed. Not good.
How are they getting away with this?
I don't know. But they're the broadcaster for the Reds, too.
That's going to suck for us fans.
Did you hear about Jay Morant's latest excuse? He said it was a toy gun. It was just a toy gun.
Even the commissioner laughed about it.
Yes.
He was interviewed and laughed. Now, this silly thing about a toy gun.
Adam Silver goes, nah, baby, nah, no toy gun.
Hey, people get shot with toy guns.
That's right. Alex Verdugo was benched from the Boston Red Sox, and you know why?
No.
Not hustling.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't hustle.
Thank God.
He's a star, and he got benched.
That's a good move. Alex Korzik.
All right, Nick, give us a full report. And before you give your report, I just read something where I was big into flag football, and I never did understand why flag football didn't take off like softball leagues. And I really do believe that there is going to be a professional flag football league one day. Hell, there's professional pickleball now.
There is.
But tell us about your weekend watching flag football.
Yeah, I went to the biggest flag football event on planet Earth. It says that on their logo. At the hallowed grounds of the Ohio State University Stadium. And my nephew played. He was 5 years old his first year. There was kids from 5 to 16 years old. They had 8 fields, and there was 20,000 people there probably. And it was a great event. I mean, it teaches skills to these young kids. And
I think we need to start the
man.
professional flag football league.
And I got to see the recruits for the Buckeyes, the University of Wide Receivers next door, practicing.
And tell us about this Michigan sticker in the urinal you see.
Ah, there it is. Well, I went to a bathroom in there, and I saw the sticker, and I didn't get it at first. I'm like, what? I was going to scrape it off, but I said, no, it's a urinal. I'm not going to do that.
So you peed
On it.
on that sticker. Did you take joy in it?
I did. I should have took a picture, but
Okay.
PG show.
This is some UK basketball women. They have recruited 3 top players out of the state of Kentucky. By the way, we're going to cover all women's sports except WNBA.
Okay.
Pro basketball might come to Louisville. Dan Issel says Louisville has to go after pro basketball. They talk about this year after year after year.
time,
Kentucky has no professional sports teams.
Right, they should. In fact, this Kentucky women's coach, she should go coach the men. See you, Calipari.
We already talked about this. UK baseball was clobbered by LSU. Now, Jamie Arias was suspended 80 games, the Guardian player.
Yeah,
Why was he suspended 80 games?
He took some metabolic. It wasn't a steroid. It was something that does something to your system. What do they call that?
Performance enhancement.
Well, they say that, but it does something with the digestion.
Erectile dysfunction?
No, that's illegal too, I think.
You can get suspended for taking ED medicine?
You can during the season.
You know, I've been made fun of that my initials are actually ED, Nick.
I never thought about that. It's funny. I call
Some of my enemies have. Reds rookie Abbott has done something that no team for the player for the Reds have done since 1893. He has pitched his first 2 starts, 5 shutout innings or more, back to back.
That's hard to believe.
Isn't that amazing? He's the only player to have done that.
That's hard to believe.
See, the Reds aren't only hot with their bats, they're hot with their pitching. And the Reds signed Michael Marriott. I don't even know who the hell this guy is.
I don't either.
Phillies, I think.
Next story. Brittany Griner was accosted at the Fort Worth airport with what they're calling a provocateur.
Right.
Shouting questions. And they say this has got to stop.
And I thought it was just a citizen, but no, it's an influencer, internet. Alex Stein's his name, right? And he's on her side. He's actually on her side. And she didn't like
I personally think the Becky Griner story is over with because she now stands and she's acknowledged that maybe she mishandled things.
I agree.
So we move on.
America here.
This is a great story. These are the kind of sports we're going to cover on our show going forward. Julian Edelman. This is a great story.
Is it?
Julian Edelman, when he was in high school in California, dated Jerry Rice's daughter.
Right.
Took her to the prom.
Right.
He actually said the first time he met Jerry Rice, he walked through the room, towel around his neck, no shirt on, chiseled chest, and just nodded at him. He goes, oh my God. He was intimidated. But you know what he did? He tried on all of Jerry Rice's Super Bowl rings. He tried them all on. Without his knowledge.
Oh my God.
And he ends up getting something.
What did he get?
And he ended up getting some Super Bowl rings. In other words, Edelman won them.
Right.
In other words, that was something foreshadowed his Super Bowl rings.
That's a great story.
Isn't that a great story?
Great story.
Red Sox Dermody got cut because of a tweet from 2 years ago.
Yep.
And they say no team's going to sign him.
That's why we can't say anything on this show because it'll come back to haunt us.
Yeah.
What was the tweet about? It was
Anti-gay.
It was LG.
It was
really anti. It was just giving his point of view.
It was not considered pro-gay enough.
Right. It went against his religious beliefs. I believe that's what it was. Right. Oh no.
Manchester City won the big soccer tournament. They're world champions of the Premier League. Manchester City 1-0. Did you see the goal?
No.
Oh my God, it was a great pass, great kick in. FC Cincinnati keeps winning. By the way, they tied.
FC?
They tied again. They keep going. Do you about this high school kid? He made 3 holes in 1 and
No.
he's a freshman. That little nerdy kid didn't do it. I don't believe it.
In the same round?
The same round.
Wow. No, I didn't hear about that.
This must have been putt-putt golf.
Yeah.
This was putt-putt.
Come on.
There's no way that could happen. Again, on the edge of sports, Shakira is allegedly dating Lewis Hamilton, the Formula One driver, now that she's moved to Miami.
You did see that?
She moved on from soccer player to Formula One. She rejected Tom Cruise.
Right.
Tom Cruise wanted her. Too short, is that what she said?
Well, that's what I think. She wants to be a Kardashian.
Did you watch this boxing match last night? I did. Teofimo Lopez beat Josh Taylor. I can't believe Josh Taylor didn't go down. He smacked him so many times. Bam! And Josh Taylor was previously undefeated.
Right.
Also last night, Amanda Nunes, who's won 16-0 fights, beat Irene Aldana and then retired. You know what? I can't get into chicks fighting. Can you?
No, absolutely.
I cannot get into chicks fighting at all.
I respect her, but no.
Right.
No fighting.
Now, this is funny. The Miami Heat has a mascot, and the Miami Heat mascot is named Bernie. And they did this little halftime joking around thing with Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
The mascot had to go to the ER.
Yeah, he did. I think that was a setup, man.
Well, it was supposed to just be goofing off, but Bernie got hurt too hard.
With a costume on.
Conor McGregor takes out Bernie. I love Conor McGregor. He's a character. Also last night, Charles Oliviero beat Beneil Darius. Now, do you have anything else, Nick? Because I do. I got some fun stuff here.
24 Hours Le Mans. LeBron went there and said, "Start your engines," which was amazing. I saw it last night. 2 a.m. It's a great event.
Well, I got to get to this. Well, here's some more good stuff for you folks here. I'm going to get to it here. 3 Arkansas State basketball players are arrested on theft charges. They keep getting in trouble. And guess how much The Rock has lost on XFL football this year?
I say 0, but go ahead. How much?
$80 million.
They're backed up by the NFL.
$80 million. Late sports coming in. We always want to stay current. Martin Truex won the Cup Series at Sonoma.
Oh, nice.
Beat Kyle Busch.
Also, for the first time in 59 years, Canadian won the Canadian Open today. Golf.
Nick Taylor.
Yes.
Nick Taylor. Good for him. What else do I have here? This is some good stuff. Allen Iverson is going to receive in 7 years, on his 55th birthday, $32 million from Reebok. This is like the Reds paying Ken Griffey forever.
Bobby Bonilla.
I mean, doesn't he get like $5 million a year?
like
Griffey does.
life.
It's something crazy. Isn't that wild, Josh?
Yes.
And last but not least, I'm saving this story for last. There was a story about Doc Ellis. Do you remember this? Doc Ellis pitched his no-hitter on acid.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
He said that if he wasn't high, he wouldn't know how to wind up. Doc Ellis. Have you ever done acid, Nick?
Yes.
Was the trip fun?
I did it.
Was it scary?
Many times, and I never got scared, no.
Right. I have never done acid, but it's on my bucket list. I want to do acid
Do it now.
once in my life
Well,
in a controlled environment
you wanna
that's
do-
safe. I just want to take an acid trip once in my life.
Go to the beach. Do it on the beach.
Do it on the beach? Take the acid and go on the beach?
That's what you
Because
wanna do.
they said the Beatles wrote that whole album
Yes.
based on drugs that induced them. So I'm thinking maybe if I do acid, I'll do a better show.
No, you don't want to be confined. Believe me.
How long was your acid trip?
Depends on which kind I took, but it lasted 14 hours.
You know, another thing I've never taken is cocaine.
Stop it. I don't want to.
You don't want to be implicated anymore. This is just a show.
Cocaine's a powerful.
All admissions are denied. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Come back and watch us next week. Nick, you got any parting words?
No.
I would like to thank my sidekick, Nick, and our producer, Josh, who comes up with all these pictures and helps us out with the facts that we never know. Have a great week, guys.
Man.